Consulting Group, and we're here making a presentation to the homeowner about a home renovation project that he's considering. My name is Reggie Harris. I'm the project manager.
I'm Melanie Cavilli, project lead assistant.
And I'm Christopher Lee, project lead assistant as well.
You ready? Okay, so to begin, let's just review our agenda. We're going to start off by sharing some of the background about this project. Then we're also going to talk about some of the objectives. We're going to review the scope. We're going to also share some of the estimates of risk and cost. And we're going to end with the summary. Okay. Let's go and start with the background. So this project, we're looking at a home that your grandfather built in the 1950s. So it's been 60 years. It's a small home, just about 900 square feet. Your grandfather was an amateur home builder, wasn't a professional, and there have only been a few minor upgrades done on the property in that time. For the past 20 years, since about the 1990s, it hasn't been lived in. So looking at this project, there are going to be some major upgrades that are going to need to be done to this property in order to get it up to our objectives. Our objectives is to get this house to a point where it's functional and livable. All right, now we're going to get there while at the same time minimizing risk and staying within your budget. Okay? Now, to share some of the scope, Melanie's going to come and tell you what exactly needs to be done.
Thank you, Reggie. The scope of the project includes outdoor and indoor. Now, for the outdoor, the house needs foundation lift, sidings around the whole house, roofing. We're going to install windows and doors, and also back door steps. Now, for the indoor, the house needs painting, drywall and insulation, flooring. Now, during the removal of the walls inside, there may be some further damage that can affect the scope or the budget of the project. Now, these risks, such as termite damage, is going to be minor damage. We will hire pest control to eliminate the damage. And we may also find some electrical wirings that are not up to standards. And for this risk, we will hire an electrician to bring up the wire to standards. Now, for weather events, such as rain, strong winds that can damage the property or affect the delayed schedule, for this risk, we have specific contingency plan already included in the request for proposals or RFPs for the contractors to account for these weather events. Now, all the risks have been accounted for, and let's take a look at the cost. Chris?
Okay. Hi, I'm the lead budget coordinator. If you recall, a couple weeks ago, we were in the office discussing a preliminary cost of around $37,000. Since our last meeting, we went to the field, we met some contractors and vendors, did some initial inspections, and we believe we can get the most mileage out of that first figure we gave you earlier. Before I make this presentation of the budget, let me tell you with the confidence that our internal estimates were right on the money, quite literally. And so with that, I can exude confidence when I discuss the budget. First of all, you'll notice that that $36,740 is a one-time fee. It's all-inclusive. It covers everything from Steiner Company's service costs, consultation fees, those pre-work estimates, inspection estimates, as well as all the subsequent work that will bring the home up to our objective point. Second, as an accountant, I want to indicate to you my 100% will to keep the cost management methodology 101% transparent at all times. We left our manual in the back, our cost management plan. If you look inside at any point in time, you can find all of our cost items, individual and the overall budget, are detailed explicitly. With explicit detail, we actually include our own costs for our fees as well. So everything is transparent. We want to make you feel comfortable with that. Also, as work is completed, all the service invoices will be on record at our local office. You can visit those at any time. Just call me ahead of time. I have a chronic case of insomnia, so you can call me literally any time, and I'll be there to answer any inquiries about that. Finally, our budget is adaptable, meaning after all the work is said and done, we have allocated $5,100 to risk uncertainties. That's out of the initial $36,740. So you can rest assured that those risks that Melanie talked about will be covered under that budget. No more costs will be incurred by the homeowner. And I hope that instills a lot of confidence for the cost part, and I'm going to turn over to Reggie to close the project.
All right, so at this point we've examined the risks, okay? We've examined the risks and we're confident that they're not going to be a problem. We've also looked at the costs and we know that we're going to be able to do this and stay within budget. So our recommendation is, let's do it. All right, now, thank you for your time. If there are there any questions?
4 minutes, 50 seconds.
So you talked about risk. Could you define, just in general, what a risk means? Let's just say an issue or something like that.
A risk will impose any uncertainty on the project, whether it heightens our scope, widens our scope, I should say, or it changes our budget in any meaningful way, or our schedule. For intents and purposes of this project, the schedule is not a big deal because we're flexible with time, but those other two facets I mentioned, those are definitely qualified as risks. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that's it.
You anticipate the risk of the termite damage, I think,
Yes.
and that your anticipation was have pest control remove the pests, but is there any contingency for structural damage?
Well, we brought in experts, and when we took a look at the house, they said they can actually do the work, and they can bring up the structure. That the structure damage is not going to be a problem. They didn't bring any concern about that. Same thing with the termite damage. Maybe a minor, but not as far as what they can see and what was apparent. It was not going to be a problem as far as structural damage.
We had several contractors actually do inspections on the house, and none of them indicated they would have a good problem.
Did your 36,000 include the contingency?
Yes, there's a buffer amount included in that 36,000. We came in underneath that, so we think that the contingency that gives us some flex from that. About $5,000. $5,100.
Oh, also the good part, I didn't mention this earlier, but the $5,100, if it's unused, and we have to provide supporting documentation if we do actually use those costs. If it's unused, we will write you a check that day, and we'll give it back to you. So that's actually a good
Your
risk.
estimate was 31,000 or 5,000.
Yes.
You good?